What's up guys, this is Jack the Quipper, and today we'll be diving into Rooster Teeth's new game, Vicious Circle. In this video, I'm going to do a walkthrough of the backstory and rules of the game, give you some tips and tricks I learned in my time playing, and then give you guys a brief review of the game. Keep in mind the footage you will see is based on the open beta from last weekend, so some of the gameplay or information could change when the game releases this Tuesday. Well, now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. The Vicious Circle is the most dangerous place in the universe. It is protected by some unknown being who commands monsters to defend the most valuable resource in existence, nuggets. Just a small pile of these is worth more than your whole planet and everyone on it. That's really all the lore the game has at this point, so let's just move on to the rules. Vicious Circle is an uncooperative multiplayer shooter. You either play as one of 4 mercenaries or a giant mutant trying to kill them. I know what you're thinking, a scary giant mutant? But look at her. She's freaking adorable. Her name is Peggy Sue, and she will mess you up. Playing as one of the mercenaries, your goal is to collect 75 nuggets, while keeping your fellow mercs from reaching 75. Once any of the mercs collect full nuggets, 2 evac points open. In order to escape, you need to have the full nuggets. If someone is trying to escape, Peggy or another mercenary can stand in the circle to keep the player from escaping. If you are trying to escape, you can use your melee to knock them out and allow the evac timer to continue ticking down. There are items that spawn on the map. These items can be used to help or hurt other mercs by healing them or stealing nuggets. They can also help you in defeating Peggy, but I'll get into specifics in a bit. Now time for the twist. If you die to Peggy, you turn into one of these guys. They're called Little Dippers, and they are annoying, believe me. When in this form, you are one of the monsters, so Peggy will not be able to harm you, but the mercs can. Your goal is to hit one of the mercs 3 times in order to possess their body. If successful, you will become their character until you get killed by Peggy, possessed by a Little Dipper, or the game ends. If you die again, even if you've already been killed by Peggy, you will still come back as a Little Dipper, which means there will always be 5 players in the game. The last general thing I want to talk about is the ability to see other players through walls. While the top of the screen always shows a leaderboard of players and the amount of nuggets they have, you can also see players through walls. As Peggy Sue or the Little Dipper, you can see all mercenaries through walls as long as they are not crouching. You can see Little Dippers as Peggy Sue and vice versa. As a merc, you can see other mercs that aren't crouching, but you cannot see Peggy Sue nor the Little Dippers through the wall. However, when one of the monsters nears you, you'll be able to hear them coming, on top of that getting a warning notification if they are within a short distance of you. So now that we have the rules of the game down, let's move into some specifics. The mercenaries. You have 4 to choose from. Before I get into each one, they all have 4 things in common. The ability to sprint, melee attack, double jump, and crouch, which makes it so other players can't see you through walls. For Peggy and the Little Dipper, they have a double jump and melee, but no sprinting or crouching. First up is Blitz. In my opinion, he's the most fun, even if he's not my best character. His running and gunning playstyle is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat as you outrun the competition. Having the highest movement speed and second highest fire rate, he is the embodiment of running and gunning. His primary weapon is his blaster, which is a 10-round handgun that shoots moderately powerful attacks. A side note to this weapon, if you reload it while it still has at least 1 shot left, the reload time is shortened. His ability is Blink, which allows him to instantly teleport a short distance forward, backward, left, or right. This ability is great for quickly dodging attacks from Peggy or other mercs. This ability has a 6-second cooldown. Next on the list is Captain Boom. To be honest, this character feels pretty underpowered. He has the lowest movement speed, however, he also has the highest sustain in battle. While his primary weapon is a 40-round automatic rifle, which has the highest firing rate in the game, the shot strength is the weakest in the game. He's the only character who needs to shoot the nugget pouches multiple times in order to bust them open. Now his second ability is where his power is. While he's the only merc whose ability does not give bonus mobility, he gets a temporary shield that keeps him from taking any damage for 3 seconds and is on a 4-second cooldown. Now this is why he's useful, but still in my opinion, not great. He's the only character who can essentially face tank Peggy Sue in a one-on-one fight. But even so, this is not recommended as Peggy has enough damage and health that you should only fight her with at least one other merc by your side. Up next is Crash and Burn. These 2 are a powerful pair with some surprising mobility. Their primary weapon is a cannon that shoots high damage AoE rounds. It only has 9 shots, but has a different reload mechanic than the rest of the mercs. While the others have to reload the whole clip, Crash and Burn charge their weapon up 3 shots at a time. This allows them to only reload as many shots as they need, which can save you some time in a bind. They can also kill Little Dippers in 1 shot, even if they don't get a direct hit. While their sprinting speed is about average, their mobility comes from their secondary ability, which converts them from their current robot form into a smaller, faster one. While the ability only lasts 2 seconds and has a 5-second cooldown, it allows them to move faster than any character in the game, aside from Blitz's short distance blink. Finally, we have Zella. She's my personal favorite. However, she's definitely overpowered in her current state. If used correctly, her ability, combined with well-timed crouching, can allow her to go the whole round without being spotted by Peggy Sue. Her primary attack is an energy blast from her hands. This essentially acts as a shotgun. She has 6 charges that deal massive damage as long as all the spread hits. However, even a single piece of the spread hitting a nugget pouch will cause it to burst, allowing for quick clearing of nugget clusters from a distance. The downside of this quick clear strategy is that if someone sees you, they can swoop into the nuggets before you can get to them. Her secondary ability is what makes her overpowered. Upon activation, she receives 4 seconds of invisibility. She cannot be seen by the monsters or the mercs, even while standing or sprinting. With a short cooldown of 5 seconds, which begins at the end of the ability, she can easily use her invisibility to evade, and then crouch behind a corner and wait for it to be back up. Another reason she's my favorite is her melee attack, the double pimp slap, by far the best part of this game. Now that the mercs are out of the way, let's talk monsters. First up is Peggy Sue. Her primary attack swings a tongue-like appendage with a spike on the end. It takes 3 to 4 hits to kill a merc. Her secondary ability is a death charge. If you hit a merc head-on, it's an instant kill. However, landing this ability is tough since you can barely change direction once the charge starts. If the attack does not land head-on, it does some damage, but also knocks the merc away from you. The last character is the Little Dipper. They are quick, but make a very loud and distinct noise when they get close to you. They can be killed relatively quickly, but it only takes them 3 hits to take over your body. Their primary attack is a swipe in front of them with their tentacles. Their secondary ability is shooting their tentacles far out in front of them. If they hit an object, whether it be a merc, Peggy, or part of the map, they pull themselves rapidly towards it. However, if they land on a merc or Peggy, it pulls them to the location the player was at the moment of collision. It does not latch them onto the player wherever they go. The third ability is a small dash forward. A few things to note is that when shooting your tentacles to pull yourself towards something, you can let go of the ability mid-air. Also, anytime you land the ability, it resets your double jump. When in this form, I like to Spider-Man flip myself across the map until I find a new host. Let's move on to the gadgets. The first 4 gadgets and 1 item spawn on the map immediately when the round starts, and there are multiple of them throughout the map. First, we have the healing beacon. It's a cooked turkey, and when set down will heal any and all mercs inside of it over time. While there are 8 gadgets in total, there is a 9th item that is a single turkey leg, which instantly heals a smaller amount of health. Next is the shock grenade. This item can be thrown at mercs or Peggy and will slow all movement and cancel all movement abilities for 1.7 seconds after it hits. It also causes the merc hit by it to lose 10 nuggets, but only drops 7 for people to pick up. If it hits Peggy, I believe it also drops 7 nuggets. Keep in mind the nuggets dropped can be picked up by anybody. They are not exclusive to you, so be careful when you use it. The next gadget is the audio mine. It places a trap on the ground that when a merc or Peggy steps on it, causes them to be stunned for 1.5 seconds and drop 10 nuggets. Same as with the shock grenade, the amount dropped is less than the amount lost. A merc hit by this will lose 15 nuggets, so try to avoid these. The next gadget is my personal favorite, the decoy. Upon use, your merc throws a decoy onto the ground that stays there until it is destroyed by either Peggy or Little Dipper. The best part about this item is that until it's destroyed, the other players will see the decoy through walls instead of your current location, and you are hidden as if you are crouching. This allows you to sprint around without a care in the world, as someone will have to physically see you in order to go after you. Now we move on to the 4 rare gadgets. These only have 1 spawn point on the map, and they do not spawn until partway into the round, unlike the other gadgets. The vacuum is an awesome item. Upon use, it will suck up all the nuggets on the floor in front of you, while also stealing 7 nuggets from any players around you. Similar to the shock grenade and the audio mine, it steals 7 nuggets, but the player loses 10. This item is very good to use while going for event objectives, which we will get to in a bit. The Porta-Pal. When used, it bursts out with a sphere of green energy. After a short delay, anything within that sphere is teleported to a different location. So far, the location you teleport to is the same location on the map, which is near the mercenary spawn point. Let it be noted that you can teleport yourself out of a sticky situation if you throw it at your feet, or use it against other players in the evac point to secure a win. The damage boost gives you 10.1 seconds of double damage. I'm not sure why the extra 0.1, maybe it's time for it to take effect. Regardless, the gadget is very useful if you want to take on Peggy, or just need to insta-kill some little dippers who are annoying you. The last gadget is a legendary item called Cosmic Chaos. Upon use, it causes 1 of 4 possible outcomes to affect everybody. Sadly, in my time playing, I only got to see 3 of these effects, so I have no clue what the last one is. Here are the 3 I saw. First is slow-mo. I bet Gavin had something to do with this one. It causes time to slow down for everyone on the map for a short period of time. Next is Battle Fog, which causes each player, monsters, and mercs to be enveloped in a dense black fog, making it impossible to see anything more than a short distance away. The last one is Mass Teleportation, which is the only one I have on footage. It sends all players to a designated teleport spot on the map, the same one as the Porta-Pal, at which point all hell breaks loose. You can choose to fight or run. I usually opted to run. The last things to go over are events. There are currently 2 events in the game, the Nugget Sack and the Void Eyes. The Nugget Sack is exactly what it sounds like, a giant pit bull containing a bunch of nuggets. If you can take it out by yourself, you are pretty much guaranteed to get full nuggets before anyone else, as it gives you at least 50 of them. Next, we have the Void Eyes. These are eyes from an interdimensional being who peeks into the map. When you shoot an eye, it drops 2 nuggets. There are 5 eyes per round and 5 rounds. This means 50 nuggets. Now time for the tips and tricks section. Here I'll go over anything I missed in the general walkthrough and some additional things I learned during my time playing. One thing I didn't mention is the ability to lock doors. As a mercenary, you can interact with or shoot the panels near the doors to lock them. Mercenaries and Little Dippers cannot go through locked doors, but Peggy can break them down with either 4 tongue swings or a single death charge. When playing as Peggy, it may be in your best interest to take the time to break down these doors, as they can leave mercs open to your attacks later in the round. Locked doors have a symbol above them that shows that they are locked. They are also red. The circles on the door give a countdown as to how long is left on the lock. Another note about them is that the same character cannot lock a door twice in a short period of time. It can only be locked by somebody else. Sometimes locking doors can hurt you. In this clip, you see that Crash and Burn locks the door as I use my dash through it. The problem with that is that they were stuck on that side with me and couldn't get out. You should start each round by using your ability and sprint to get the items near the front. It does not hurt you to do so, and you can use them to get ahead. Here's an example of when locking the door was a bad idea. It kept me from getting the nuggets from someone who stepped in my trap. I found there to be a good path to take while playing on the ice map. The other map in the beta had 2 paths that worked, going left or right, and they each seemed to have a near equal amount of nuggets. However, on this map, there seems to be a clearly better path. Usually on this map, I go directly for the path to get the most nuggets. However, here, I was stopped by Peggy and the Little Dipper here. After killing this Little Dipper, I proceed to the path. It is recommended to grab every item in your path, even if you don't need it, because even if you can't use it, it means the other people can't use it. First, start with this corner of nuggets. Usually about 10 to 15 spawn here, which lets you get an early lead. After that, round the corner and grab this corner of nuggets. This usually spawns between 7 and 12 nuggets. On top of the additional nuggets on this path, there are 2 decoys in this room, so you can throw one away, get the nuggets on this wall, and then grab the other one and run away. So that's pretty much the path. As you see, I have 41 nuggets out of 75. What I do later in this clip is that I run around and I do the path a second time in order to get full nuggets. A bit more information about the Little Dippers. When taken over by one or being killed by Peggy, it takes 10 seconds to respawn as a Little Dipper. Also, upon killing a Little Dipper, they drop 9 nuggets. If you use an item while reloading your weapon, it interrupts the reload and resets it. The Mercenary's melee attack can be used on Peggy to also knock her back. This can be useful when you're trying to escape or just keep her off of you so you can kill her. Nugget sacks have a set health. Since each character has varying damage, some can clear this event faster than others. Zella, for instance, can clear it in 18 shots or 3 clips. Captain Boom, however, needs over 4 full clips in order to kill it, which takes a lot of time. All in all, this is a very fun game. I found myself at the beginning of each match saying, "This is my last one," for about 4 hours. However, as with any games, there could be some improvements. Keep in mind that this was an open beta, so any problems I currently have with it may already be resolved when the game releases. This game is not well optimized. The minimum specs for this game are an Intel i5-8400 and a GTX 760 with 2GB RAM and 8GB of system RAM. Recommended is an i7-8700 and a GTX 1060 3GB RAM and 16GB of system RAM. I have the recommended i7 and an overclocked 1070 Ti. My build, while admittedly is not the best, can handle most games on high graphics settings without overheating. However, even with the fans on 100% and the game on medium graphics, I was hitting mid-70s on both CPU and GPU. There's no reason for this to happen. However, that can be fixed, and I hope they work on it. Unbalanced characters. At first I thought they were very badly balanced, but after spending hours reviewing footage and critiquing my own gameplay, I realized that they are pretty close to being well balanced. They still need some tweaks though. For instance, Captain Boom's shot strength is way too low. I understand that he has a 40-round clip, but lowering it to 20 and doubling its damage, or at least making nugget pouches able to burst from 1 bullet, would balance his strength a little bit. Also, his main strength lies in being the most suited to fight Peggy, but that's not very good if the mercs don't work together. He's essentially only good if there's someone else nearby to dole out damage while he face tanks with his shield. Zella is pretty overpowered. Her invisibility needs a lower time or a higher cooldown, or maybe just remove the movement speed bonus altogether. Regardless of the change, she needs to be lowered in strength. Item spawns. They either need to randomize the spawn locations or just move the rare ones to be farther apart. You have one area of the map that has 2 decoys back to back, then another area that has 3 rare items all together, and another that has 2 more rare items. My last problem is that Peggy seems to be a little bit OP and that her death charge kill box seems to be pretty big. I think that they just need to make it a little bit smaller so that people have a good chance of getting out. Considering how small the company who made it is, for my only complaints to be some balancing issues, item spawns, and optimizations, it proves they did a very good job making this game. My final note, is there going to be a ranked mode? While the increased cost of dedicated ranked servers will be high, I think it would pay off. Since the game is designed to be a party game with friends, I don't think solo play is very viable. However, if they included a ranked mode, it would make the game open to competitive and casual gamers alike. Well guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed watching my first ever video. I used to always think this stuff was easy, and holy crap was I wrong. The amount of time that went into editing footage, writing the script, and doing the voiceover was way more effort than I anticipated. But to my surprise, I loved it. I plan on making more videos, especially for Vicious Circle. If you want to check out my Twitch, I'm going to start streaming this Tuesday for the release. The link is in the description and on the screen right now. It's twitch.tv/JackTheQuipper. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time.